fateful day of March 22nd, 2016, I was assigned to operate a flight from Brussels to Newark. I never imagined I would leave home promising my kids that I would be back after 5 days, but could not return home for months due to the disaster which took place at Brussels, taking more than 32 lives, and over 300 of us were injured. It shook the world, and it shook my world too. It was the most horrendous day of my life, which changed my life and perception. My survival from the bomb blast was just the beginning of the test of my courage, resilience, and hope. Something that I strongly needed to discover within myself. That unfortunate day, I was to fly as a senior cabin crew member. The moment I stepped in the departure hall, I saw the first human suicide bomb attack, but couldn't immediately figure out what it was. By the time I sensed something was wrong and wanted to move away, there was another big bang. Boom. And that was the second blast. The impact of the blast was such that I was thrown away to the other end. The blaze, heat, noise of the explosion was so powerful, as if the sun, lightning, and thunder hit onto us all together. I felt unconscious, but my subconscious mind was alerting me, get up, wake up. I regained consciousness. I opened my eyes. It was hard to see anything because of the smoke. At first, I couldn't feel my legs. With fear, when I looked at them, they were intact, but were badly injured with chunks of flesh scooped and pierced with metal pieces. I tried to escape, but I could not move. I even tried to drag myself out, but the pieces were piercing in my body as if needles. Then I took the help of a policeman and sat on the chair where a photographer captured that photo of mine while I was feeling dazed. I was asking God, how could a human being be so brutal? I was not only shocked, but was feeling dreadful. What I saw, I cannot describe in words because I feel there are no words to express or to describe the trauma of such an inhuman and unpleasant act of terrorism. Even in that situation where people were crying of pain, people screaming to find their loved ones, people whining, passing by with injuries or were lying on the ground, for medical aid to arrive, I was reassuring them. I pacified many by giving confidence to them that we all are safe, we are fine, in spite of so many injuries I had suffered. At the same time, I was trying to find out ways to stop the bleeding, especially from my left leg, because I knew this could be the reason of my death. It took me nearly 3 hours to reach the hospital, and in those 3 hours, I kept myself calm, and more importantly, kept myself conscious. The moment I reached the hospital, doctor's team rushed towards me with a volley of medical questions. After answering all their questions, I asked, are you going to amputate my leg? The doctors had no answer. Then I asked, is my face totally burned? The nurse replied upon, yes, it is. On hearing this, I told the nurse, I don't want to live anymore then. I know it feels very shocking, but at that moment, I had no idea what shape or form I would be in even if I survived. Without even wasting a minute, they started their line of treatment. They performed many surgeries. They removed 47 metal pieces from my body. I suffered 25% of severe burns and was kept on a ventilator. At night, doctors decided to shift me to one of Europe's best burn center hospital because my burns started deteriorating. In the morning, I was airlifted and was taken to the Grand Charleroi Hospital, where doctors carried out More surgeries, they carried out skin grafting procedures on my deep wounds and burns. But during the course of my treatment, my health started dropping day by day. It started becoming worsened. The oxygen requirement given to me earlier by a ventilator was just normal, 22%, but had reached 100%. My infection level crossed all parameters and was dangerously high. My lungs got infected, water started accumulating in my lungs, my parameters were fluctuating, my body temperature was not coming down from 41 degrees Celsius, which is almost 106 degrees Fahrenheit. And finally, my heart started pumping poorly. Doctors were surprised as to why no medicine was effective on me. Doctors advised my family members to keep on speaking to me through the speakerphone, which was outside my ICU room. They instructed them to keep on motivating me because they said she could hear. Tell her that she's doing a great job. She's fine. Nothing is wrong with her. Tell her to keep on fighting. Because as per the doctors, I was fighting against all odds because I desired to survive. As my condition was not improving, doctors suspected something wrong. They planned to do another CT scan, but this time they did a 3D CT scan in which they found that there are still many metal pieces yet left within me. They started the removal process, and the biggest one, what they found, was about 2 inches long in my right foot bone. There are still many more left within me, but they cannot be removed as they've gone deep inside, like one in my left eye orbit. But after that day, things started to improve. And finally, after 23 days of being in the state of induced coma, I opened my eyes. I failed to notice anyone. A few days later than that, I got a part of my memory back. I recognized my husband, my sister, and my brother-in-law. I expressed my desire to meet my kids to see them. Doctors told me I will not be able to go back for at least a month and a half because I'm very feeble. There are more surgeries to take place. I decided I would go back as early as possible. And for that, I started rebuilding my confidence back. I started motivating myself. I knew it's not going to be that easy. And the next day itself, I broke down. I broke down when I saw my face in the mirror for the first time after the blast. I couldn't recognize myself. My one eye became smaller than the other one. My face had clear burn marks with patches and scars all over. Instead of long, beautiful hair, I looked bald. I got scared looking at self and never wanted to take the second breath because of the negative thoughts entering my mind, flooding my mind. What will I do? How would I face the world? What would people think of me? I thought I lost the battle without even fighting. But my family is very supportive. They explained me the meaning and value of life. They elucidated me that beauty is not what you see in the mirror. Beauty is what you feel about yourself. They encouraged me. They encouraged me to choose strength over weakness, to adopt forgiveness over revenge, and to embrace courage over fear. As the whole world was playing for me, they asked me to recover as early as possible and set out on a journey of inspiration and help people fight when all their hope is lost. I also thought, if God has gifted that life back to me, it has to have a reason, and I would make it count. I believed and now wanted to spread the power of positive thinking, constructive belief, and hard work, which can turn the universe to your side. Entirely wheelchair-bound, had multiple fractures, got crushed bones, with hands and foot crafted, with many wounds and deep burns, with yet one heel bone being hollow, with many metal pieces yet within me. But I started a new life. My desire to survive had grown into desire to live. It took a lot of confidence, hard work, positive thinking, and Almighty's grace to fly me back to India within just 20 days' time. It was a very emotional moment when I met my kids and my family. I was with them just for a few minutes, and from there, I was taken directly to the hospital. My wounds were very deep, so doctors decided to do the rest of the surgeries. After a few months, they gave me discharge from the hospital after 3 days, advised my family members to keep a full-time nurse for me because they said she's dependent and wounds require dressing and cleaning every day. They further said, we cannot afford any more complications. I was determined to do everything by myself, so I refused to keep a nurse. Doctors were hesitant predominantly because in my case, the chances of getting infection was on a very high scale. And if it would occur, it would enter my bones, and that would be a disaster. But my confidence won the faith of the doctors. For over 3 months, I was dressing by my wounds by myself without getting any complications raised. Forget about walking. Forget about walking. I was not even allowed to hang my legs down while sitting on the bed or on the wheelchair. But I had read somewhere, it's 20% of medicines and 80% of a person's positive willpower, which gives you 100% positive results. I requested, and I took permission from the doctors to allow me walking with the help of a walker. Doctors were terrified on my plans. They said your right leg may collapse totally and will not be able to take the weight. But I was adamant and was prepared for any consequences. My desire to live had grown into a desire to conquer. At first, I could just sit and stand with the support of a walker. After a few days, I could just take a single step and would cry of unbearable pain. But I didn't leave hope. I kept on trying because it's very rightly said there is no gain without pain. And within few months, I overcame walker and could walk like any other human being. Doctors were and are amazed of my strength and willpower. And even though when I've almost got my life back, it has made me wonder a few things. It's not just me who's been blessed with these superpowers. Every single soul on this earth has been blessed with these powers of courage and strength. We need to just find and ignite them. We need to hold on to them today and now. Difficulties come in our lives not to destroy us, but to help us find and realize the hidden potential and powers you have. Let our difficulties know that we too are difficult. Remember, an arrow can only be shot when it's pulled behind. So when life is dragging us behind with difficulties, it means it's checking onto our willpower and strength, and it's going to launch you into something great, bigger. And even when I kept wondering about courage, I slowly realized why we all need it more than ever today. Because we don't live in the same world we used to. I wish nobody should ever go through what I went through. But that doesn't change the reality of the unfortunate world we live in. We live in a fragile world. A world where such willful disasters are still taking place. An eye for an eye cannot be a solution to any problem. The answer to this challenge does not lie with our politicians or media. Cannot be solved with weapons, nor can be fought with hostility. We cannot fight terrorism with equal aggression. But humanity beats terrorism. And that is the reason why this world has survived and will continue to survive and flourish. Humanity is the courage to accept each other the way we are. Humanity is the spirit to appreciate the differences we are born with and to respect the differences we have. Our survival depends upon each other's survival. The only solution for this problem is worship humanity. Plant the seeds of love and compassion. Water them with faith and relationship and reap the beautiful fruits of peace and prosperity. Love, compassion, peace, faith, relationships, they are not the luxuries of a life, but they are the necessities. And without them, humanity cannot survive. Thank you.